Okay, so we're looking at multiplying and dividing, and I think this first section, you should at this point be able to solve these on your own. Just be aware, the second row, you're looking almost like division. 8 times what equals 56 to figure out what goes in those boxes. And then we have some tables here, which I think you can probably do these pretty simply on your own, but I want you to make sure you're using what you know about one fact to help you with another fact, especially for B and C. So these times 10A should be pretty simple. If you use what you know about tens, you just add a 0 after each number when you write it, and those will give you the answers. But to go from times 10 to times 5, basically these numbers are the same, so you need to do half. Times 5 is the same as times 10 divided by 2, so you can take half of 50 and half of 20 and half of 90 to get those answers. That's how those two connect from times 10 to times 5. Now to do times 9, you can subtract that number from what you got when it was times 10. For example, 5 times 10 is 50. Subtract 5 from 50, and you'll have 45. That's how you get 9 times 5. Let's move to this one, number 9. 9 times 10 is 90. 90 minus 9 would give you 81. That's how that trick works to figure out your times 9 facts. And that will even work when you have a larger number. So we know 12 times 10 is 120. Now subtract 12 from 120. Cut that in half, and you have 12 times 5. And then subtract 12 to get your times 9 fact, and that's going to be that. So use the facts you know. This is actually, they probably did this wrong. This is probably supposed to be 18 times 9. But that's how you use one fact to help you know another for those. And now let's get into these story problems. Here we go. Number 4. So Mrs. Larson is making gift bags for 6 students, and she's giving them erasers. She has 20 erasers to give. If you want to do this like very basic, you can just take 20 erasers and start giving them to students and just pass out the erasers until you figured out how many each student gets. But you can also use an equation, so you have 20 erasers. You need to splitting them up to 6 students and figuring out how many each person gets. But the trick here, though, is not about just solving that question, but what do we do with the remainder? So the main thing I'm interested in is you're going to have these leftover erasers, and you need to make a decision about what to do with that remainder. And then here we have some group work. The teacher wants his class to work in groups of 4. And then he divided them into groups, and there were 6 groups of 4 and 1 group of 3. So you can look at your 6 groups of 4 and your 1 group of 3 and put that together to figure out how many students were in the class. And then you're going to get the number that is the answer. And then we're taking that further. So if the teacher wants all the groups to be exactly the same size, how many students should be in each group? How many small groups would there be? So what you need to do for this one is take this answer you got here, and you need to think about what are the factors of that number. So how can you divide this number to make equal groups? And you'll say that he should make how many groups of how many students in each group. And that is your homework for tonight. And thank you, and goodbye.